You tell me where you think the Saints are at.
I think, I mean, look, our division's wide open, right?
Yeah.
But our division's been wide open for the last 2 or 3 years,
Yeah.
right? I think what I haven't seen is just consistency. You know, I'd say last year, look, we finished the year playing great, but unfortunately we were in too big of a hole that we weren't able to pull out of it. I think you want to feel like, number one, each and every week you're getting a little bit better, or you're playing, you kind of know what your bread and butter is. Like, you know what your identity is. You know what you're kind of leaning on, right? And I'd say over the last couple of years, we've had certainly a top 10, if not a top 5 defense.
Yeah.
As long as we can stay healthy, right?
Yep.
Up front, look, I love our offensive line, but we got to stay healthy, right?
Wait, you say you love our offensive line too? Come on, that's you sugar.
I played with all these guys. Look,
No,
those guys were young guys when I was.
You didn't
when
play
I
with
was
Trevor Penny.
No.
You got look. We replaced 3 new starters. Cesar Ruiz up and coming. Now McCoy the center, but McCoy ain't no Max Unger. And you know. Look, so that's why. I mean, look at Jari Evans, Carl Nix. I look at Teron Armstead, Drew. Come on, be honest. We don't have that kind of offensive line.
Here's the thing. You can
make them look better.
You work together. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you can't be standing back there for 5 seconds and expect them to block that long. You can't. The better you are in the pass game, the more that you can sustain drives, the more you wear down a defense, the more you're able to dent the defense in the run game. Like, all these things, they work together. You know?
Yeah, and Drew, and I've said this about like the Drew Brees of the world or the top quarterbacks, that you can make the offensive line better than what they really are just by getting rid of the ball and knowing where to go with the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of a sudden, oh, watch out, you're going to, and the ball's coming out. You might say, well, he took a sack, the quarterback. Well, I look at it, I go, well, he should have got rid of the ball. See, I think at times when you always want to hit that splash play, that chunk play, take what the defense gives you. So also, Derek Carr can help the offensive line be better, even though you don't have across the board like the Jari Evans, Teron Armsteads.
Yeah, look, bottom line is, offensively, you have to be able to control the line of scrimmage, and you do that through being able to run the football. And that doesn't mean that you're getting these huge splash plays. That could just be, just 3 and 4 yards, just dent the defense, use the passing game as an extension of the run game, which was a hallmark of our offense with Sean Payton.
Right.
I mean, so much of those throws were, it's getting the ball out of our hands. There's nothing more demoralizing for a defensive line than all of a sudden you feel like, I beat my guy. I put together a great move or a counter move, and I'm right on the quarterback, and he gets the ball out of his hands, right? So in my mind, I was thinking to myself, I'm not taking a sack on this drive. I'm getting the ball out of my hands because I want the D-line to recognize that, no matter how good I play or how fast I get to the quarterback, he's going to get the ball out, so it's not making a difference.
And then they're frustrated.
Yeah, then they're frustrated, right? And you can change their mentality. Now, if you want to feed their ego, right, and allow them to get negative plays and allow them to make these kind of game-killing drive plays.
Hold on to the ball.
Yeah, exactly. So, look, I like this Kubiak offense. I mean, I've always loved the Shanahan offense, right? So I think our ability to run the ball with this zone scheme, I think it's going to open up all kinds of throwing lanes. I think these 2 receivers,
Chris Olave.
Yes, Olave and Shaheed need to have. I think they need to show as much consistency in the intermediate passing game as their ability to make the big splash plays.
Well, Drew, that was one thing, and I took pride in this too. You talk about the short pass play. Just be accurate as a quarterback. To me, if everything, he could throw the country mile. No, that doesn't matter. Be accurate so the yards after the catch, so you're hitting them in stride, maybe away from the defender. It might have been an 8-yard throw. All of a sudden, it's a 15-yard gain. Just being accurate with the football. To me, that's the number one thing that I've noticed with any quarterback. It's good that you can extend plays with your feet and all that, but you still have to be accurate. It doesn't matter that you can't throw it 80 yards. You got to be accurate with the football.
Here's the thing. Accuracy to me is trust and anticipation, right? So if you trust the guys you're throwing to, you trust in the system, you're able to anticipate, based on your preparation and your game plan, then that's when accuracy comes. And you hit guys in stride, you give them the ability to front up the defense and make plays. Look, we have playmakers. I think we have playmakers all over the place. But now it's, can we stay healthy enough up front?
Right.
And then develop the confidence throughout the course of a game where hey, we're playing complementary football on both sides. We can develop a lead. Now all of a sudden you call plays with different level of confidence. You throw the ball with a different level of confidence. It's that's kind of the world we want to live in.
Well, and I look at like an Alvin Kamara. Okay. To me, and I look Clint Kubiak and the 49ers, Shanahan and all what they do, there's no reason why you couldn't run the same type plays with Alvin Kamara that you did with Christian McCaffrey. And that's why, they say, you know, like people will say, well, Bobby, but Kamara's getting old and all that. I said, I don't know. I watched him in OTAs and minicamp and seen his bursts and all that. 29, 30 years of age. No, he looks a lot younger to me. And so I think those type plays, and you know, they tell us, well, Alvin Kamara, he hasn't really run well. I said, well, they got to give him an opportunity to start. He didn't forget how to run with his instinct. So I know you're a Kamara fan.
Yeah.
To be able to, like when you had, where there was like Reggie Bush. And I even look at Darren Sproles as a better version of Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
And all those type weapons. So, again, you got to stay healthy. But with Derek Carr, I think Derek Carr now being familiar with the team that he's on, he's going to have success. How would you view Derek? Because, you know, it's always like, what have you done for me lately? You know, what are you going to do this season? That I think Derek Carr, I'm not saying he's top 5 or whatever, but Derek Carr is a legitimate starting quarterback, I think.
There's no question. And I've seen Derek Carr operate. Like, this goes back to his early years with the Raiders and with John Gruden. Like, that John Gruden offense is not an easy offense, right? It's basically our offense, but I would argue even wordier. I think Gruden had a tendency to make it super wordy and put a ton on the quarterback. And I would watch those primetime games where everybody's mic'd up, and I would listen to Carr. I would watch him. I know what he's looking for.
Yeah.
You know, you know enough about these teams now where you know when they get to the ball and it's a check with me situation. And then based on what the defense is doing, here's where I'm going. And man, I sensed a confidence, and I sensed that, like, hey, I can read this. I know what I'm doing. I'm getting us into the right play. I've seen that guy play some incredible games and step up in some really, really clutch moments. Here he comes to a new team with new personnel, new environment. And look, last year, like I said, I think for the whole team was just somewhat inconsistent. But now we come into this year. He's got a year with this team and with this personnel under his belt. He's got a system now that is incorporating, I think, the best of what he's done in the past, incorporated with, I think, the best of what this system brings over from the Niners.
San Fran.
Yeah. Complemented with a great defense that has great leadership and I think is poised to have, you know, another kind of top 10, top 5 type year.
Well, we always have outstanding special teams.
Yes.
You know, when you flipping the field, the hidden yardage and all that, we're always like top 5, so that has to continue. Mm-hmm. But what needs to continue is that we need to humble Sean Payton for leaving and going to Denver. So when the Broncos come to town, Drew, so when you look at that atmosphere, I mean, some people might show appreciation and cheer him, but they'll have a few people that might maybe want to boo him or might cheer him, but then they want us to whoop him. So, I mean, I put it this way. I like our situation better with the Saints than I think he has a bigger challenge in Denver than we do here in New Orleans.
Well, you didn't have the same quarterback.
Yeah.
Look, he's got some choices. I think he really likes Bo Nix.
Yeah, but he said Bo Nix is like reminds the young Drew Brees. Like, oh, you better slow your roll. A lot of people saw him play at Auburn. No, and it was different what he did with the Oregon Ducks. So you got to slow your roll there. Sean stroking Bo Nix a little too much before he actually does something.
Drew, one of the things that stays consistent, though, you talked about this offense fitting. Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
I think that's a guy. Bob and I've talked about this so often. You got to get the ball in his hands more.
We're not saving him for nothing anymore.
Hey, let's do this little exercise. This will be fun. If we could, you know, if we could go back in time. Obviously, he got here in 2017, and none of us had ever seen anything like it.
Right.
And he played a little bit of everything that year, but it wasn't until 2018 where it's like, man, we can really start to incorporate this guy at quarterback, do a lot of these, you know, QB runs or read
QB power,
or just let him launch it, right? The guy can launch it.
Yeah.
I don't know why we haven't lived in a world where Taysom Hill is getting 10 to 12 snaps a game at quarterback. This is a little bit of an exercise of.
So you saying that he should every game get that at least?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Because that puts more pressure on the defense, right? More to have to prepare
Look,
for.
if you want to go and you want to chart the plays where he's in and he's playing quarterback, and you just chart what the result of the play, and then you match that up with the rest of the plays, I would argue that some of our most successful plays consistently are when Taysom Hill's a quarterback. Now, I'm not sitting here saying, hey, there should be a quarterback controversy.
Right.
Taysom Hill should be the starter. But what I'm saying is that there is a tremendous value.
A package, yeah.
When he is playing quarterback. Number one, it's just you can't argue the results. The proof is in the pudding. The results show that that's when we're getting the best yard per play and these other things. And probably big play opportunities. But also for a defense, think about for a defensive coordinator, the amount of time you have to spend in a week of preparation to get your guys ready for the Taysom Hill package. Like, that's terrifying. That's terrifying. Because if you get into a game and Taysom Hill plays quarterback 7 plays and just like wreaks havoc on you for 5 of those, you might get fired.
Yeah, well, he's done that like Bill Belichick, and the Patriots couldn't stop him in the red zone.
And they knew it was coming.
Yeah, and it's like all of a sudden you call in the wife or the family and said, I'm going to sleep at the office tonight because they were the extra preparation after Taysom Hill.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm saying when I said, hey, do this exercise and step back in time, like there's never been a time in history in NFL that I can think of where you had a guy like that was literally coming in for, call it 10 plus games or plays a game at quarterback and executing that type of offense, or was that type of weapon?
Well, and Drew, I look at him now, they're going to utilize him. I mean, now you get up in age and say, we're not saving Taysom Hill for nothing. We might run him into the ground, whatever, but this season, now we got to take advantage. However many touches he gets, targets, whatever, whether you have him in the slot or whether you have him at quarterback, and just give the defense more to work on, and I'm sure Derek Carr would welcome that.
Yeah.
Because if Derek Carr helps the offense look good, then it helps me look good. Yeah. We all in this together.
But I'm saying generally speaking, that's probably the hardest thing for most quarterbacks, because you're sitting here saying, no, I'm the guy.
I'm the man.
I do not want to leave the field, right?
Right.
I mean, look, we all feel that way, right?
Yeah.
But then when you all of a sudden look at the results, right, and the fact that you just love the guy.
Yeah.
You'd love the dude as a teammate, right? But you recognize the value that he brings and everything that he does. And so it's like, you know what? If this is going to help us get in the end zone more, then put him out there as much as you want.
Well, and even look how he helps the team, do whatever. When, like, against Tampa Bay, remember, he blocked the punt. He goes there and he blocks the punt. It's like, that turned the game around and we end up winning. So I'm like, all I know is not less snaps, more snaps. I mean, what are we going to save him for until he's too old? No, it sounds terrible, run him into the ground, but it's like, no, Taysom, you're playing a lot.
Think about in the last 50 years. Can you name another guy that did or has done what Taysom Hill has? He's in a special category in the NFL.
Well, what makes it so difficult for defense is when Taysom Hill runs off of the sideline to go into the huddle, you don't know what position he's playing, right?
Right.
Like, you're trying to decipher what the package is based on the other personnel, but you don't know if Taysom's going in to play quarterback, to play running back, to play tight end, to play slot receiver. Like, you really don't know where he's going to line up. And based on lined up, you have to be like instantaneous with what the adjustment that you might be making as a defense, or else you're out of position. And so that's the part that's a headache for a D coordinator, is you can dream up all this, the perfect defense, but if your guys can't communicate it well enough to be in position once they're out there and once the huddle breaks, and we prided ourselves on being very fast tempo. Hey, get everybody lined up, boom, we're getting the ball snapped. If we catch you out of position, man, that just works to our advantage. So no, there's nobody that's ever been like him in the NFL in history.
So